everybody. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we have a crowd here, small one. The first session in that class is kind of introductory. It is my understanding that some of you here are just visiting to find out what that class is about. Some of you are already committed. Some of you already paid money, got the book. So the first session is meant to give you an idea of what's going to happen here. And we will, after the break, we will actually go into software testing. We will start dealing with software testing. First kind of idea you will get today. And let me begin. We start with historical aspects of how that school came to life, because 99% of what happened in 92, 93, 94, we started the school in 94, August of 94. It is pretty much in place even today. And certain things, certain good trends are even stronger today compared to 92, 93, 94. So I think when we talk about the historical aspect, it gives you better idea of what's going to happen in the future. And it explains what is happening today. So what do we have here? A couple of words about myself. So this is my name, Mikhail Michael Portnow, and the school has my name. My first college degree was in telecommunications, and I worked after the college, after graduation, I worked 4 years as a digital design engineer, logic design engineer. And then in parallel, I was doing my master's in mathematics, and then I was doing my PhD in psychology of vocational education. Very interesting change. So I was working, after a while, I moved from electrical engineering into, they call it methods of intensive training, intensive teaching. So I know how to teach fast. So I learned psychology, and specifically, in application to the learning things fast. So, and in 1990, it was very end, November of 1990, our family moved to the United States. We lived in San Francisco for a couple of years. And then we settled in Mountain View, and then Los Altos, Sunnyvale, so moved around a little bit. And then I came here as having no idea of English. I mean, a couple of months of private tutoring, because in a school, in a college, so I was learning German a lot. I was learning French a little bit, but never learned English. So if you know what it means when you go to city college and they measure your English proficiency and they tell you your score is 200. You know what's 200? Means you have no idea what's English. So that is what they gave me, 200. But since I know how to teach fast, guys, and since I know how to teach myself even better than teachers normally know, in 2 months it was 400, and I decided I will not go to city college because I just do it faster myself. So, and it is a common, it is a common dilemma for an educated immigrant. You don't know what to do first. When you come to a new environment, you don't know what to do. Either you take a class or you teach a class. You can do both. So it happened to me to teach a class first. And I was teaching weird things, typing, 10-key, DOS, word processing. It wasn't even Word at that time. It was WordPerfect, if you heard about WordPerfect. So I was teaching WordPerfect in the Korean Center in San Francisco. So, and then I realized I don't like myself that way, really. A friend of mine who was working as a developer, he gave me Carnegie and Ritchie book on C programming, and I studied that book, and I was very much happy because if you ever program microprocessors, let's say in 80s, okay, if you would ever program microprocessors in binaries and hexadecimals and all that stuff, assembly language. So when C comes to your life, it's like a blessing just coming from there. I was so much enjoying C. I really wanted to do something like that. And that same guy, he introduced me to the company where he worked, and it was August of 92. August of 92, and they said, what do you want to do? I said, coding, I just learned C. They said, yeah, would you like to do testing? I said, I don't know what you mean, really, but if you let me, I'll do it. And I mean, yeah. If you let me, I'll do it. And I believe that because whatever I did before, guys, if you're an engineer, whatever you have to do as an engineer, you just do it. And it is supposed to change, over time. The technology changes. So that is how I became a tester. And for 3 months, they gave me $1,000 stipend. Okay? And then it became 28K permanent with miserable benefits, Kaiser health insurance, the worst one in my life, but it's okay. So, and it was my first job in software testing. And then I talked to a couple of people. So first of all, I tried to find other people in the same profession. So I called all my friends, not many, but maybe 5, 6 people, who worked in development at the time. And I said, listen, would you introduce me to your testers? They said, who? I said, QA. They said, we don't have QA. We don't have we do not need testers. We develop code, we make sure it works. I mean, why would we need testers? I said, wow. What kind of profession is that? And so I talked to VP of engineering there. I said, listen, what is that profession? And he says, if you stay with us, let's say for 5 years, and everything goes fine, and you might grow up to maybe 40K. And a couple of developers, they overheard that conversation. They said, cynical guys, they said, Michael, don't listen to him. He is way too optimistic. You cannot make 40K doing such a miserable job. You have to think how to move to development. You cannot stay there. Okay. And so that is the story. I was lucky and unlucky at the same time, because in 10 months the company collapsed, and I had to go to the job market first time in my life, and unlucky because I felt like, God, I was just going and high, and they just shoot me, on that way. So, but you know what? I go to the job market, and it was early May of '93, and in a week I find 5 ads, just 5 ads to reply to. Okay, San Jose Mercury News, the only source at that time. So 5 ads, and I have 2 interviews out of 5 ads. On one hand, you do not see many jobs, but on the other hand, there is no people. So out of 2 interviews, I get 1 job offer, which is not 28K anymore, it's 36. And in 4 months, they promoted me. So the company was purchased by a larger company, so they gave me 40K. So it took me a year, not 5 years, to get to 40K. And I think, it's a good profession. I like it. That job search thing placed me in a situation in which I had to look at my entire life before. And I had to do my first resume. And to do that resume, I had to explain, first of all, how I came to QA. It should be natural, kind of. I had to find what I did before, which is related, directly related, or maybe indirectly related. So I had to rethink my previous life from the QA perspective. And you guys might not even know how close you are to QA already. Because whatever you've done in your life, if it is kind of intelligent work, I don't know, accounting or any kind of engineering, or maybe even teaching or medical or microbiology, any profession here, there is some component of quality control, of making sure what you do is up to requirements, up to standards, up to expectations, up to something given to you to comply with. And I would say software testing is probably one of the least critical areas where we care about that. Think about pharmaceuticals. People can die. Okay. Think about mechanical engineering. People can die. Building bridges, aircraft. Guys, car engineering, automobile engineering. Think about this. Now, what is a software bug? It's okay. Guys, it's okay. Nobody is going to die for sure. Unless you install it on aircraft, I don't know. And then what happened? So I've got my second job. And on the first one, I had some exposure to automation. Second one, not much. But second one was about multimedia software. In '93, multimedia was like internet a couple of years after. It was pioneering. You buy a computer, and you push that button, you know the button, okay? And then cup holder gets out. You can put cup on it, okay? Lots of people thought it's a cup holder. I mean, unless you know what it is, what is that? It's a convenient stuff, you know, like in your car. Yeah? And when I started that work, if you would look at a complete catalog of all the CD-ROMs available for sale, it would be maybe 350. That's it. And every day we were getting new companies created just to put some stuff on CD-ROM. San Diego Zoo, okay, CD-ROM. Okay, so I'm serious. Shakespeare works. Put everything on CD-ROM. It is searchable for essays, you know, for kids in a school. So that time, and it was purchased by a larger company. They gave me a raise, and then it really collapsed because it was a mostly publishing kind of business. They published certain software catalogs, this and that, and they decided they do not need QA as a separate function. They would use technical support to combine QA and technical support. Somehow it was reasonable for them. In their specific situation, it was very reasonable. So, and I go to the job market again, and I was very upset here. I was thinking, if I would have a tank, I would come to that building and just circle around that building, you know, making sure it all is turned into dust, okay? But eventually I realized, guys, there is someone above, right there, okay, watching you and saying, too much of comfort zone, get out, okay, let's do something. So I got that magic kick, okay? And my third job was for Borland. Borland at that time was third company in the world in software sales. It was legendary. It was like Google today, or God knows, Microsoft, PayPal, that kind. It was big. And they paid me, guys, $35 per hour. You can't imagine what it was, $35 per hour in '94. Right across the El Camino here, you might see that building. I purchased a condo. 130,000, guys, think about it. 130,000, 2 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,200 square feet. It costs, I believe, over $500,000 today. Guys, with $35 per hour, you just could go and buy it. And so that is the value of $35 per hour. My wife was making pretty much the same, and I told her, I mean, why would people need more money in their life? I mean, if you have $35 and $35, you can, I mean, own the world. And so, and in Borland, I've done lots of automation. I mean, 90% of what I did was automation, and I became real good in that. And it actually put me in between a couple of things. So I had to make the decision. So either I switched maybe to development, because I was using not just test automation tools, but I also used Windows API calls and certain things. I was practically moving in my work to development, or going to management, because I was 38 years old, closer to 40, so kind of lots of companies considered me for management position rather than for automation or anything like that, because I was, being 38 years old, I was the oldest one in any company where I would go, with exception of president and vice president. I was a grandpa. Okay? And and I became a manager. So a friend of mine, called me and said, we need a manager, and I said, okay, I have to try. But when I was looking for that Borland job second time, I was amazed, because just 1 year in between 2 job searches, and instead of 5 jobs a week, it was like 15, 20 a day. And I had multiple interviews, and I've got multiple job offers. I was waiting for Borland, because they told me, Michael, wait for a couple of weeks. And I wanted Borland. I had SQA Instruments and different places. I didn't want to go there. I just wanted Borland. So I was a manager, and then after that I worked for a glorious startup called Broadvision. Broadvision, nobody knows Broadvision? Anybody knows Netscape? Okay. Netscape was the first internet company going public in April of '96. Broadvision was second internet company going public in July of '96. And they went public at $7 a share. In 4 years, in 2000, with splits, it was $7.50 a share. I mean, imagine. So I was working there, but we started that school in '94, in August of '94. I was working for Borland at that time. I just couldn't keep it for myself. When I realized it is growing, and I did a couple of times the job search, I did the resumes, I realized how to convert what you've done before into what you want to do today. And I can tell you, at that time, when developers were coming with their wives, to talk about the class we offer, and they said, but we do not have testers. What is that profession about? So I had to break that window, that wall actually, of not understanding that profession exists, because most of the people coming to me challenged the fact it exists, because nobody ever told them. And since '94, when we started that school, till today, I keep breaking that same wall. Not locally. Locally, everybody knows it exists, but if you go to other areas, people don't know. And in Russia, I have a webinar recorded in Russian for that part of the world, and we have young people, they watch a couple of lectures. We have 10 lectures here. After 3-4 lectures, people get jobs. And when they send their resume out, everybody is amazed. They know that profession exists. How would you know? In Silicon Valley, it's a common knowledge nowadays, but it wasn't. And so that is how the whole thing came to life. I just want you to understand out of that specific slide that software QA profession is relatively new. Prior to '91, '92, companies normally didn't have anybody who specifically tests. Software would go to customers. Customers happened to be kind of advanced people at that time. And they would complain about certain things, and company would fix it, send them a patch or diskette, and that is how it worked. But in '91, '92, '93, '94, every year number of PCs sold double. And within a couple of years, we've got a huge army of people who don't want to test anything and who do not want to report anything. They just pay $30 for a piece of software, or maybe $10 even. Install it, and they want it working. If it's not working, or somehow they are not comfortable, they bring it back to the store. And you have to understand, when they bring it to the store, there is some loss there involved. It's not just, nobody made money. There is some loss involved. Repackaging and kind of processing of everything. So, of returns, it costs money. And then testing moved inside the companies. In '92, I just worked in a company where VP of engineering was a visionary. who realized they have to have it. So he was one of the first realizing they needed. I can tell you, we started that school in August of '94, up to '98 inclusively. Most of our graduates were first QA people hired by local companies. First. They didn't have QA. Up to '98, it was okay. In, let's say, 2000, year 2000, it was relatively rare to see a company which doesn't have testers at all. But the proportion was different. Let's say if 10 years ago, 12 years ago, it was okay to have maybe one tester per 5, 10 developers. What happens now, software becomes more complex. You understand that? So if you look at web application 10 years ago and today, I mean, it's much, much more complex. So the more complex it becomes, let's say if it doubles in complexity, it might quadruple in complexity of testing. So the number of testers needed per developer is growing. We need more testers now. That is one aspect of that. Another aspect is when we moved from Windows applications development to web applications development, the paradigm changed. I mean, before it was maybe 6 months in between releases. You know, we have 6 months to develop and test and give it to customers. Now, you go to Google, you type what your search is, and then you have first page, or maybe first part of the first page, and then here is the competition, and your competition might upload their changes every day. So now you compete on everyday basis. So we moved from older type of development, we moved into extreme programming, into agile development lifecycle. You will learn about that in that school, in that program. Now we have less time to test. We do not have 6 months anymore. So first of all, it becomes more complex. We need more people. Second component of that, we have to do it fast, so we need even more people. So that is what's happening. And since day one of this school, since '94, I've been seeing people who say, "Oh, it is going to die." Okay, robots will do that. It will be outsourced. It will be this. It will be. I mean, all the negative people. Guys, have you seen any negative person who says, "I am negative. Stay away from me"? No, they say, "I'm reasonable. I'm realistic." Okay, realistic. That is their life. Okay. I keep them in their life, guys. Don't join them. Realistic. Software QA profession was born in early '90s, and since then it is growing and growing and growing. We actually have some room here, if you wish. So let's go to the next one. Here are the properties or kind of nice things about software testing which used to be in place many years ago and which are still in place. So your age does not work against you compared to, all we're going to talk about is when we compare software testing to other niches of IT job market. So your age does not work against you as much as it would work against you if you want to do development or systems administration. Hypothetically, guys, if we have 100 people who are doing, let's say, accounting, and who are in between 45 to 55 years old, you can imagine, okay? And they decided to move to web development. Is it doable, hypothetically? In a market like we have now, guys, there is a chance. So maybe out of 100 people, maybe 5 are capable. But think about what's going to happen to those 5 who are capable. They get a job and they're miserable because they are not as good as kids around them, and they're not going to be better than kids later on. So now, if those 100 people will move to QA, out of 100, maybe 75, maybe 85 will make it. It's normal, it's okay. I mean, all they need is persistence and hard work, and they're gonna do it. Especially if it is not specifically here in Silicon Valley, but if you go outside of Silicon Valley, the job market is outstanding over there. The demand-supply ratio, we have lots of jobs, but we have lots of supply. We have you. If you go to Chicago, I teach online class. I have 40 people in my online class. I was teaching yesterday. I will be teaching today later on. So 40 people, and they are from all over the United States. And yesterday, I was doing some research with them. So what happens on the job market? No people, no resumes. You just say, I'm here, and everybody wants you. So what I'm saying, they will go and get a job. No, not a problem. It might not happen within a week. It might take a month, but they will do it. So here is what I mean when I'm saying the age doesn't work against you that much, because in QA position, so first of all, it is a kind of routine job. Kind of routine job. Some people enjoy the routine. Guys, I think if you are an accountant, if you stayed in accounting for 25 years, you have to enjoy routine job. I mean, really. If you don't, you might have all the diseases possible, you know? With all the parts of your body, you're going to be real sick if you do every day something you hate, you know? It's very dangerous. So some people just enjoy the routine. So it is a routine job. And you need certain level of maturity to appreciate what you are doing, to understand the importance of that, because the younger you are, the more you are looking for fun rather than purpose. So fun becomes purpose. The older you become, so the more you ask questions like, does anybody need that at all? Or how is it going to benefit other people? And so age-wise, that is the only niche in IT job market where your age and your maturity level will be appreciated. Computer science degree not required. I mean, some part of QA things is supposed to be done with, by computer-educated people. I mean, the most challenging part of that assumes having computer education and maybe programming background, things like that. Definitely. But if we look at the easier part, black box testing, where you do not work with the code, we might not even understand what's programming about. So computer science degree is not required. I can tell you, even, let's say you are 22, 23, you are out of college, you studied computer science, and you apply for QA job, like the simple way of QA job, like black box testing. You look like a failure. I mean, really, you spent 4 years, you know, of your life learning how to do development. And in the market where we have very sharp deficit of developers, instead of being a developer, which is that easy, you decide not to go. Looks like, I mean, you might have multiple reasons for that. So personally, I'm okay with that. But lots of people will see that as a failure. Previous profession helps with the transferable skills. It is true. So whatever you do, you might work with documentation, you might work with certain requirements, regulations, specifications, compliance-related issues, which is everywhere. Fairly high compensation, yes. Testers are not making as much as developers, but if you look at that from, let's say, energy cost perspective, means how much is 1 calorie of your time, of your energy, and 1 calorie of developers' energy. Guys, if you consider their skill level, their stress level, your calorie costs more. So high demand in major urban areas. Pretty much wherever you go in US, there are some black spots a little bit, but 95% of the territory, okay, is covered very well with the jobs like that. It doesn't even have to be an organization which does software for masses. Okay, it might be bank which does software just for people in a bank, insurance company, they do software for inside of the company, and so on. And think about websites, guys. Someone has to test websites. Are we having less and less and less websites with introduction of mobile devices? No? What do you think? It keeps growing. So we need more and more people to test. And if you compare that to highway building, okay, let's say we have a highway and we have 500 people who build highways. They just go and build highway. After they finish that highway, 500 people move to another highway. But now we need people to maintain that highway. Maybe another 100 people, maybe 200 people just to maintain what those guys build. So what does it mean to maintain software, websites, web applications, mobile applications? We need people who come up with new release and new release and new. They fix bugs, they introduce new features, and it keeps growing and growing and growing. And that is why the demand is growing. No colleges offering degrees in software testing means you do not compete with people who are better educated in that specific area. Easy to learn is a practical matter. It doesn't mean monkey can do testing. Not really. I mean, you have to be a human quality person. I remember one student, he went to internship, and I'm asking him, so how is it going? He says, Michael, monkey can do it. No, still you have to be a human being. Easy to learn, relatively easy to learn compared to other things. Means it doesn't take too much time to start working. You can start with relatively low technical skill level. It doesn't mean you can start working with a relatively low technical skill level, because there is some demand for people who do not know much. But it doesn't mean you have to stay at that level for the rest of your life. It's not what it means. It means you can start working, and then you really start learning when you start working, guys. What we learn here in that class is how to get a job and how to keep a job, two things. But then you really start learning. And what you learn over there will go into your resume under experience section. What we learn here is under education and training, okay? When you go there, then it becomes your experience. 4 to 6 months is enough to start working. So what's in the 4-6 months? You have 10 weeks class. Then let me say a couple of more words here. We have certain procedures here. In the middle of the class, in 5 weeks, you have what we call midterm. At the end of the class, we have final test, so you have to pass the test. The good news is if you fail the test, you can take it again unlimited number of times. So we understand that you are all different, and you might need different amount of time to be up to the certain requirements, but it's okay. And part of the program is you can repeat any class you take unlimited number of times, no extra charge. The product of that school is not the class you take, but the career change. So if you go through same class multiple times, it benefits everybody. It makes our life easier because it's easier to send you out, and makes your life easier because you spend your time, but it's a good investment. It's not like you waste your time, you invest your time into yourself. And I don't know any investment better than yourself. Really. So 10 weeks is the class. Then we send you out to internships, and to maybe 50% of you, internship will become the first place of employment. Because normally, guys, you're likable. I mean, they're going to like you. And if they like you, they always find 15, 20 bucks. It's not a problem, to keep you. The question is, do you really want 15, 20 bucks? Okay, that is enough. Because if you go to the job market, normally you would get 15, maybe 25, maybe 30, just right out of the internship. But some people would rather keep it. It depends who you are and how you position yourself. So some people are more short-term, some people are more long-term. Whoever you are, so there is a 50% chance they're going to keep you right there. If not, you come back. It takes 2-3 weeks to get a job nowadays. We will talk about the job market. I will show you the trends. So you will enjoy it, I can promise you. 4 to 6 months. Okay. So we come to the job market right away. Okay, guys. Let's go to Dice. Everybody knows Dice, yeah? Yeah, it's a job search engine. Okay, let me go there. Dice.com. So we are looking for jobs. Just watch what I'm doing. Okay, guys. Specifically you. Okay. When I'm talking, you look at the screen. Okay. And I don't know what's on your laptop, but whatever is there, if you are not listening to me, you're outside of the class. Okay. Is it clear? I'm not talking to people who are not listening. And nobody in your life will be talking to you if you are not listening. Okay? No student, no teacher. Okay. I consider that to be very disrespectful, by the way. So login. Oh no, I'm sorry. We will do that later. No login. Just a second. You are looking for a job. You go to advanced job search. That is how you're going to look for a job. Don't take notes. We have very detailed recordings, videotape of what to do here, how to look for a job. But here is the idea. We are in a specific geographic area. Let's say 94040, which is Mountain View. So 40 miles around Mountain View. Is it okay? Okay. So, and I would say I'm looking for jobs for 1 day. Guys, what do you think about just 1 day?
Great.
Today is Tuesday. So, I mean, yesterday, if I would do that same thing, I would go into Sunday. But today is much better. So we go back to Monday, 24 hours back. And I will search only the title of the position, because inside of the job description, there might be lots of keywords, but it's not what we want. We want just the title. So QA has to be in the title. And here is how people do the research. They come and say, no jobs, God, no jobs. Oh God, why is it? No, just a second. No jobs. 4, no jobs. So guys, now I'm removing just one letter here. QA, from SQA to QA. What's going to happen? 83. Guys, 21 times more. Not bad. What if I remove engineer from here? 83 becomes 125. Looks like a miracle, huh? 125. But guys, it is not how you're going to look for a job. Okay. Because we want all of them. We need more than that, okay? We're going to be doing better than that. Let's do it this way. We will do logic expression here. Boolean means logic expression. And we will say, I want certain keywords, and I do not want certain keywords. What do I want? I want QA or SQA or test or tester or quality, and I do not want manager or manager or lead or senior or SR dot for senior, or just SR for senior. So now, guys, let's take a look. So 125. It was 125. Now it becomes 232. 232 cleaned up. That is cleaned up. if I remove that part, not, okay? If I remove that part, it's going to be what? 315 compared to 125, not cleaned up. So that is where we are. So if you look at the jobs posted within 24 hours, which are pretty much cleaned up, no senior, no manager, nothing which you would kind of sort out anyway, not bad. That is just one day. But more realistically, you will see the picture if you go for 7 days. Why 7 days? Because some companies repost their jobs every day. Same way, you will repost your resume every day. Because if they search for 1 day, you want to be found. Same thing companies are doing. If you search for today's job, they want to be found. So if you look at 1 week, so it's not 235, it is 314. You just have to understand that certain jobs were fulfilled, certain positions were fulfilled. So let's say we look at 400 unique jobs cleaned up. And let's say 400, and if you can apply just to 50% of them, so you have the opportunity to send 40 resumes a day just on dice. Just on dice. We have Monster, which is as strong as dice. We have Career Builder, which is as strong as dice. We have a few more things, maybe not as strong as dice, but you don't need more than that. Okay. And since we started to talk about it, let me show you something here. Dice, let's go to Dice again. And now I will log into Dice as a recruiter. So what you're going to see is what a recruiter will see when they look for you, for your resume. We give you certain, I call it unfair advantage. I mean, to me it's very fair, but because you are our students, so we want you to have unfair advantage. We give you certain knowledge of how to be at the top of the list when people search for you. Okay. For example, let's do it nationwide, because I have students all over the country, including my online folks. So let's say we do something like QA Android, whatever. QA Android. Just a second. For which period of time? Let's say for 1 week. For 1 week, what do we have? Come on. That first gentleman here intuitively did something good. Intuitively. So I don't know him. And he's a software engineer. He is not even a tester. He's a software engineer. But he is everything. He is developer, tester, lead, QA, God knows. I mean, he is everything. And that is why he came to that search results by accident. Okay, but then Sharon is my online student. She is from Florida. Okay. Жанна is from Maryland. Okay. They are not looking for their first jobs, guys. They've been around for a while. Dipali, Marina, okay, Ivan, so husband and wife, see? Okay, Irina, yeah, she's in my current in my current online class. Julia, okay, she actually got a job already. She started today. It's her first day today. Okay, Nisia. You guys, all of them are from that school, with exception of that one guy. Huh? Okay, that resume, I just did that resume 2 days ago. He is in my online class. So they all, guys, know something which puts them at the top of 387. Let me do instead of Android, let me do just mobile. It's a broader category, broader keyword. Okay. So it's not 387 anymore. It is how many? Come on. Ew, ew. No? Too many. Searching and searching and so should be over 1,000 easily. Okay, I don't know why it is. Maybe should I push that button again? Oh, it web page is not available. Oh god. One more time. Search. So we've got over 1,000 people, and out of 1,000 people, Jane, again, she's not the first time on the market. So Jane is number 1. Sharon, you remember, from Florida, she is number 2. Luba, okay, she is a mature girl now. I mean, tester. Svetlana, Vasily. So, guys, they are all from that school. How come? Out of more than 1,000 people, they are on the top. So pretty much same guys, yeah. And they are, some of them are at the top, no matter which search we do. Let's say I do the most stupid search. Let's say QA engineer, which doesn't explain much. But what if I do it this way? Who is at the top? Okay, that weird guy. Okay, but why is he in? Oh, it's okay. It's nationwide. Okay, then Sharon is again. She is number 2. Okay, and then one our graduate. Alex is our graduate. Jana is our graduate. Hina is our graduate. Ramil, the guy was a professional hockey player, guys, in Russia. And then he worked as a coach in Spain. Hockey coach, ice hockey coach. And he learned Spanish brilliantly. And then he won green card in the lottery. He came to that school, and his very first job was in Spanish localization testing. They needed someone who's fluent in Spanish. And I remember when he got 2 job offers at the time, one in Texas and one in Chicago. It was his very first one. And I said, where would you go? He said, obviously I go to Chicago because they have very cool hockey team. So I can go and watch, those things. Okay. So all of these people are coming from same source, guys. Why? They know certain rules of the game. That is why. You will know the rules. You will have the handle to how they bless you, how they find you. What it gives you, you have choices. So you might have 2 calls a day, or you might have 25 calls a day. That is the difference. With 2 calls a day, you will be demoralized within a week, and you stop looking for a job, and you never come to that profession anymore. With 25 calls a day, guys, you get a job in 2-3 weeks, and you bring all your friends to that school, okay? And that is what we want to achieve. What testers do? Anybody worked in testing before? Okay, 2, 3. Some people are not sure. Okay, let's let's do it this way. Just one by one, briefly. What's your background? What's your background? Educational, professional, whatever.
I was civil engineering.
Civil engineering.
Healthcare.
Healthcare.
Computer science engineering.
Marine engineer. No.
Marine?
Marine, yeah.
Landscape design.
Biotechnology.
Business administration.
Software engineer.
Community
Data
college.
analyst.
Huh?
Community college.
How old are you?
20.
Okay.
Tennis coach. Tennis coach.
Tennis coach. Okay.
Financial.
Process engineer.
What kind of process?
Manufacturing.
Okay.
Business management.
Languages and literatures.
Teaching or
No, just graduated last year, but right now I'm doing.
which languages?
Slavic.
Like all of them or some of them?
Just the Russian in particular.
Okay.
Jewelry design and retail.
Okay.
QA tester.
Business management. Healthcare. You, economics, and so
Okay.
Financial services.
Business management.
Computer engineer.
Law.
Computer? Okay. Linguistics, which languages? So you can say, excuse my French. Kind of. Okay. Yeah.
Computers, but I'm not done with school yet, so.
And how old are you? 19. Okay. Who is the youngest, guys? Anybody younger than 19? 18. Okay. Younger than 18. No. No. Okay. We had one girl. She came being 17, but she became 18 in a week. So,
Just school.
high school or
College.
college?
What I recommend is
Cook.
I cook.
Talk. It means like
Yeah, I have.
like go to weddings and talk, or you just talk, or you talk to your spouse. Just, no. Talk to who?
No, work at restaurant.
Oh, work in restaurant.
Restaurant. I just cook.
Oh, cook, not talk. You cook. Okay, guys, it's better. I mean, so
I'm a
science
science teacher.
teacher,
Software engineer.
Mechanical engineer.
Computer engineer.
computer, hardware or
Software.
software? Okay.
Project manager.
Project manager. What kind of project?
IT implementation of software.
Okay.
Graphic design.
Graphic design.
Computer design.
Good. You like kids. Okay.
High school, sales, and 2 quarters of community college.
Took orders.
2 semesters.
Oh, okay. Quarters. Okay. 2 quarters. Okay. Guys, you see, you represent a very diverse group here. Mostly with scientific kind of flavor. Computers, biology, microbiology, whatever. But so anybody can tell us what is software testing about? We have a couple of people coming from software testing, past. So what is software testing? How would you explain that?
You can test the product.
What does it mean to test the product? What is testing?
Make sure it's work. Make sure the product works.
By the certain
Like it's supposed
standards.
to.
Somebody creates
Going
something
to
and
make sure that it's working.
To find bugs.
Find the
Find
bug
bugs.
and
Report.
To make sure that
Make sure
develop,
to make
fix
sure
it.
that
Assure
the
its quality.
software actually implements the requirements that.
Okay, we've got a couple of different approaches from different kind of perspectives. So the most precise one is, so we make sure it is up to requirements. So testing, software testing means we make sure it is implemented up to the requirements, so there are no deviations. So another one says, okay, we are looking for bugs. Bugs are deviations. There is some difference here, guys, subtle difference. When you say we make sure it is up to requirements, it is not the same as saying we are looking for bugs. There is a difference. You might spend considerable amount of time just to make sure it is up to the requirements. And you find no bugs, and it doesn't mean you just wasted your time. Making sure it is up to the requirements is different, quite different from finding bugs. When you look at people, how they test, you will see that most of their time goes into finding bugs, reproducing bugs, reporting bugs, making sure the bugs were fixed. But it is not the essence of testing. It is not why we test. We test to make sure it is up to requirements. But as a sub-product of that process, and it might take 95% of the time, we run into bugs, we report them, we process the bugs according to the procedures established in your company. Okay, that is software testing. What are the activities of software tester here? You have to know the product. You have to know the requirements. The challenge here is And it is a very good challenge, and that is why you are not paid $12, you are paid 25, 35, 50, you know, because it's difficult to learn the product. They normally do not give you requirements. Not normally, but very often they do not give you any requirements. Especially if you work for a smaller company, you know, and, or something very dynamic in agile environment. So there is no documentation, so you can sit down and learn for 3 months or 6 months at documentation. I mean, some companies are still working like that, but you know what? You come, and even if they give you that many, I mean, that pages, you know, that much of requirements, and you read that, and you figure out that half of that is completely obsolete, and another half is just missing. So we work in the environment where we do not have enough information for making decisions of software being or not being up to requirements. We just don't have the requirements enough. In some way, you might look at software tester's job as a project management kind of activity, and your project is gathering requirements. Sometimes you run into the challenge of making sure it is up to the requirements. Some requirements are not on the surface. Okay, you have to do some sophisticated things to get there, but it's not exactly where you're going to be right after that school, or maybe for a couple of years after. It is not going to be the problem. The problem will be not having enough information. So your project is gathering requirements, and then you can say, okay, up to or not up to the requirements, the implementation of software. Okay, you might judge. So that is a very challenging part, by the way. Ad hoc exploratory testing. So you get what you get. Some documentation, some discussion, some meeting notes, I don't know. So, people talk to you, whichever way they want you to learn the application. And what you do ad hoc or exploratory. Ad hoc is a subset of exploratory. So the name suggests that you are kind of exploring, learning the application. In a slang, people would say, let's play with the software. Play. Try to use it with the purpose of getting better idea. So it's called exploratory testing. In exploratory testing, we have 3 components. We have planning. We say, why don't I do this? Then you do it, execution. And then you look at the results and you analyze it. You learn. You say, okay, that is learning. And then you move to the next step. Ad hoc is a subset. In ad hoc, there is no time between planning, executing, and learning. Some people call it monkey testing, because monkey doesn't learn and monkey doesn't plan. So it looks like monkey. Okay. It's not. I mean, guys, we are still humans, so we just do it fast. So ad hoc or exploratory, you just manually, you know, try it, and then you get better idea. So you experiment with the software. It's very, very common activity. There is a book written on exploratory testing, guys. I've seen it on Amazon. Write test cases and other test docs. Right. So test case is the smallest possible document about behavior of software product. It says, okay, do it this way, and here is what you expect. And it talks about very small feature. We will spend lots of time talking about test documentation and test cases, believe it. So you plan, you document your knowledge. In the form of test cases and other test documentation, we document the knowledge. We obtain the knowledge here, and then we document that knowledge. Why it's important to document? Because next time, or maybe other people, you know, they do not have to spend that much time to pick up that knowledge. So we create that knowledge base. And we make our testing more solid. So next time we run it, we go through same procedure. Because if procedure is different, and you find something, you don't know if it was there months ago or just it is a very new thing introduced yesterday. You don't know. So having documentation makes your testing more solid. What you have to understand, if you work in a startup, and that startup would either survive or not survive in 3 months, they're not going to pay much attention to that, guys. They don't want to spend their time on documentation. They are in survival mode. When they survive, if they survive, they have more money now, and they move into better established kind of processes. So then you will do test documentation. You execute test cases. You write them, you execute them. It is called structured testing, when you just execute the process, the procedure. So it is called structured testing. Structure is opposite to ad hoc. So ad hoc is no process. And here we have very structured process. What you can do with test cases, you can automate them. And that is a different part of your class, your program. It's included in the program. Means next time you don't have to spend that much time doing it. You just push the button and the test will be executed with certain tools. You write bug reports. So whatever you do, guys, whatever you do, you learn, you experiment, you write test cases. Writing test cases, by the way, is one of the most effective activities in finding bugs. Because when you write test cases, you go through a certain formal process. When you do it here, as a human being, you just do something which is reasonable. When you do test cases, you have to do things formally. It might not be even reasonable, but you just do it. And so you find lots of bugs here. You execute test cases, you find bugs. You automate test cases, you find bugs. So whatever happens, you find problems, you report them. So writing bug reports is one of the important activities. And then when developer says fixed, you go and fix it. I will move to the board to give you some insight on bugs and what your profession is about. Okay, here is the requirement. Okay, here's the requirement. And you have to go there and say requirement is implemented or not, satisfied, not satisfied. So what do? You run your application, step one. And then you type something, you push buttons, you make some options, selections, whatever. So there are multiple steps which eventually bring you to the right place. Yeah? And you, step by step, you come here and you say failed or passed. Imagine, so guys, in today's world, everybody knows princesses. You know, you have girls, they're all princesses. You know that? Notice that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So imagine a princess. Okay, princess. What does princess do normally? Princess sits in a tower. Okay, waiting for who? Prince. Prince. Princess would not jump, you know, out of the tower on a farmer, you know, or gardener. Or, I mean, princess is waiting for a prince. Okay. Bugs are like princesses. Different quality, obviously. Scale. So bugs are sitting in their towers in the software. Okay. And they are waiting for a prince. Who is a prince? You. A good tester. Okay. So they are looking for a good tester. And then when they see a good tester, they just jump on him. But now, imagine the prince. Okay. Prince goes here to verify the requirement. Prince doesn't care about all those girls. Okay. He has a purpose in life. Then, and he just moves to step one. Just opens some dialog box. Boom, and there is already a princess jumping on him. Because princess realizes he can write a bug report. So to fulfill the purpose of that princess. And, but he says, no, I'm busy. And he goes to another screen, and another screen, and another screen. And all the princesses, you know, who live there in the surrounding towers, they jump on him, and he says, no, girls, I'm busy. And I cannot help you. And that prince is a very bad tester. Okay, in software testing, we are saying the right time to write a bug report, to report a bug, is immediately. You see the bug, you report it. You might say, yeah, after I verify the requirement.